Here's the cold hard truth, and it's an important one. If you take the wrong running back in the early rounds of fantasy drafts, your likelihood, your chance of winning it all is extremely low. That's why in today's video, we've researched the 5 best running backs to be drafting between rounds 1 and 4, excluding the big dogs, right? Bijan, Gibbs, Saquon, Ashton Jeanty will not be on this list. Starting with Omarion Hampton, rookie running back for the Chargers, 22nd overall pick, joins an offense that ranked 12th in rush attempts last year, and that likely would have probably been top 5 if J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards were not so bad, inefficient. The Chargers moved on from both backs, signed Najee Harris to a 1-year deal, who's a fine back, right? He's okay. He's nothing special. He's not very explosive, as he's earned a PFF elusive rating of 68.4 and averaged 3.9 yards per carry over his career. Hampton is the complete opposite, who among FBS running backs ranked 2nd in rushing yards, 5th in missed tackles forced, 11th in yards after contact per attempt. This is a do-it-all back that's going to thrive on this elite Chargers offense, and he has receiving chops as well. There's nothing he really can't do. Now you're putting a back like Hampton behind a top 5 offensive line on a run-first team, on an offense that's going to be in scoring position often. We know Chargers offensive coordinator Greg Roman loves to run the football. He's never finished lower than 11th in rushing attempts over his 11 years as offensive coordinator. And I get it. People don't want to spend an early round pick on a rookie. I mean, you should be drafting Jeanty in the first round, but plenty of rookies have dominated in year 1. Let's take a look back. Saquon Barkley was the RB1 in total fantasy points. Ezekiel Elliott, RB2 in total fantasy points. Jonathan Taylor, RB6 in total fantasy points. I think a lot of people got burned by Gibbs and Bijan their rookie years, but those were because of different situations. The bad coaching, there was, they love David Montgomery in Detroit. They don't have that type of respect or allegiance to Najee. He's on a backup level deal. As far as I'm concerned, I personally have no problem spending a round 4 pick on Hampton. He's going at the end of round 4 right now because of the ridiculous upside that he has. Don't play scared. Draft guys with upside. If everything breaks right, you could have a league winner on your hands. Take a look at this tweet from Ron Stewart. Since 2010, there have been 22 rookies to hit 16 plus points per game from week 9 on. That's what you're hoping for. Will Najee be involved in the beginning of the year? Yes. But Hampton is the much better player. He's going to gain closer and closer on him till he overtakes him. And he could be a guy the second half of the year goes completely crazy because they're like, all right, Omarion is clearly the better back. Sorry, Najee, pushes him to the side. That very well could happen. And when I'm drafting, I'm looking for guys that can break out. I think Hampton is one of those guys. All right, moving on to Chase Brown, another guy that I love this year that a lot of people are nitpicking on. Don't be one of those people. Take a look at these stats. From week 9 to 17, once he fully took over last year, he was the RB4 over that stretch, averaging 23 touches, 116 total yards, and 5.5 targets per game. He saw 44 total targets over those 8 games, which was second among running backs, only behind Devon Achane. He also finished 6th in target share, 2nd in receiving yards per game on the year. This is an elite receiving back, and he's going to be used that way. Cincinnati, yet again, is going to have a bottom 5, bottom 2. They might be the worst defense of unit in the league this year. Would not shock me. So what's going to happen? The same thing that happened last year. Cincinnati was forced to throw the football at a very high rate because they were always playing from behind. They were the second most pass attempts, only behind the Browns in 2024. I expect that to continue. I think Brown is a lock for double-digit touchdowns. RB1 overall is well within his range of outcomes at this point because of the upside that he brings on the offense that he's on, his receiving ability, and you pair that with no real threat in the backfield. Zach Moss is back, Samaje Perine, and a 6th-round rookie on the depth chart behind him. This is the guy that's going to be a workhorse, 3-down back. Sign me up. I just don't see a world where he doesn't outperform his round 3 ADP. Brown has all the ingredients to be a fantasy football superstar yet again in 2025. Moving on to the next running back, Chuba Hubbard, who broke out in year 4 to many people's surprise. Everyone was all about Jonathan Brooks, who didn't play for most of the year, finally got into the game and retore his ACL. Super sad. Hate to see it, but Hubbard benefited. He was the RB13 in fantasy points per game while ranking 11th in explosive run rate and 7th in yards after contact per attempt. And this was very impressive because if you remember watching last year, this Panthers offense was horrendous. It was painful to watch them. They were 29th in yards per game. It was so bad that they benched former first overall pick Bryce Young after week 2, which no one saw that coming either. It's going to be a much different story in 2025. I really like the outlook. Bryce Young showed major growth and promise over those final 3 games last year. He racked up 612 yards, 10 touchdowns, 3 of those were on the ground, 0 interceptions, 111.6 quarterback rating. I'm super excited about this offense, which is kind of weird to say from a variety of reasons. Bryce Young's overall outlook, like we just talked about, looks very promising. Dave Canales is an impressive head coach. He's a nice play caller, and he knows how to develop quarterbacks at this point. He's done it time and time again. And another benefit for Hubbard, this offensive line is really good. They ranked 7th in run blocking grade last year. The unit's probably going to get better this season. And the Panthers spent 8th overall pick this year on wide receiver Ted McMillan, who's a big-bodied 6'4 receiver, possession guy, explosive. He's going to help this overall nature of this offense that had nothing in the passing game really outside of Adam Thielen, playing crazy at the age of 33 until he got hurt. Xavier Legette wasn't anything special. They need a guy like McMillan to move the ball, to get them in scoring position more often, which is going to lead to more high-value touches and opportunities for Hubbard. Another guy that doesn't have much competition on the depth chart. Carolina added Rico Dowdle from the Cowboys and drafted Trevor Etienne in round 4. These are backups, right? Chuba got paid this offseason. He's going to be the guy. 4-year, $300 million, 4-year, $33 million contract. Hubbard has top 5 upside at the position because of his talent, usage. This offense is going to take a jump. I promise you that. He looks primed for another big year. All right, on to our next running back, who a lot of people don't like. I know he burned you last year, but it's Breece Hall. I feel bad for anyone who's going to be too scared to draft him because they took him last season and he was not good. But this is going to be the year that he finally puts it all together. Last year was a train wreck in New York. It wasn't just Breece Hall's fault. His offense finished 24th in yards and 25th in total points, ranking dead last in rush attempts. The offensive line was terrible. Aaron Rodgers underperformed, didn't play to the level that we thought he would. This offense as a whole struggled. The play calling, Nathaniel Hackett, was horrendous. Justin Fields now comes in, replaces Rodgers as QB1. And believe it or not, I'm a big Fields guy for fantasy, real life. I think he's going to ignite this offense more than people think. He's also a great addition for Hall for 2 major reasons. Justin's mobility is going to help open up running lanes for Hall. Think Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, not the same caliber of players, but the same point, right? Derrick Henry it was so easy for Henry last year because of the runs, because of the attention that Lamar took off him. It's going to be similar, maybe to a lesser version, right? But the idea is still the same. And a lot of people, this might blow a lot of people's minds, but Fields loves to check down the ball to the running back. A lot of people are like, no, he runs the ball. No, he actually loves to throw to the running back. Let's look at the numbers. This is his check down rate over the last 4 years. Derek Brown tweeted this out. 2021, second highest check down rate. 2022, fifth highest check down rate. 2023, 31st. And then 2024, 11th highest, only played 10 games for Pittsburgh. We know Breece really makes his money in the receiving game. He's an elite receiving back, 57 plus receptions in each of his last 2 seasons. This offense as a whole is going to be so much better. It starts with the coaching staff. Aaron Glenn, new head coach, brings Tanner Eggstrand with him over from Detroit. Tanner was the pass game coordinator for the Lions previously. Any coach, any offensive coach that's coming from the Lions, it just has to already be guaranteed that they're going to be really good because this Lions offense has been ridiculous these past couple of years. And the Jets have also spent a first-round pick on an offensive lineman for the 2nd year in a row now. This line eventually has to click. They have 3 first-rounders on their offensive line. Like, when is this unit going to gel? They have a bunch of studs that there's just no way that this offensive line does not get better this year. Breece Hall is such a talented player. Last year, I get it. It was rough. He got injured the second half of the year. He's still only 24 years old. I think he's going to have a career year. Don't make the mistake of passing up on him. Give him one more year. I think you're going to be really happy when you do draft him. And the final guy on this list, none other than Bucky Irving, who I absolutely love. This dude is phenomenal. From week 10 on, he was the RB6 in fantasy points per game, 1,500 total yards, and only 254 touches on the year. That's insane. 5.4 yards per carry. Doesn't get much better than that. While averaging 3.93 yards after contact per carry. That is insane. It was the most among running backs last year. And he did all of this on seeing 46% of the snaps on the season last year. 46%. And he was just clearly the best guy on the field, right? But in 7 games last year where he saw more than 50% of snaps, including a playoff game, he averaged 127 total yards and 6 touchdowns. This is just a really good running back. People are scared of his ADP. Don't be. Don't fade really talented players on good offenses. Like, he was one of the most efficient backs in 2024. Bank on running backs who are efficient, right? Not these Kyron Williams who eventually is going to fall off because they're so inefficient. Bucky is not that. 5th in yards created per touch last year, 5th in evaded tackles, 6th in explosive rating, 7th in breakaway runs, and he can get it done in the passing game as well. He's a massive threat in that department. Finished 2nd among running backs in catch rate. He reeled in 47 receptions for 392 yards in year 1. Rachaad White's still going to be mixed in, but Irving is going to take more pass down work from White, and people are expecting, and he gets to run behind a top 10 offensive line. Yes, we got the news that Tristan Wirfs is going to be out for maybe the first 4 games, stud offensive lineman of the year. Not ideal, but that's no reason to avoid drafting Bucky. They lost offensive coordinator Liam Cohen, but they promoted Josh Grizzard from within. So it's a guy that already knows the system, the scheme. I think Irving is going to crush yet again. You saw what he did with a 46% snap share. What do you think he's going to do when he's seeing 65% of the snaps, 70% of the snaps? I have no problem drafting him over guys like Derrick Henry, Devon Achane. People are scared because they think you're drafting him at a ceiling. Draft really good players. Let's make this simple. Draft really good players on really good offenses that are going to be the guy in the backfield. Irving is going to be the guy, right? So he's getting the volume as well. Like, he's getting a lot of the pass down work. I think he's a steal at the end of round 2. Don't be scared of his ADP. Draft really good players. That's how you win fantasy football. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like the video. It helps me out a ton. Subscribe, leave a comment down below, and I'll see you in the next one.